coming this episode.
Would you like a hint on the maximum damage that you could deal this turn?
How did you arrive to that so quickly? My dream is to go on the Pro Tour. And that's why I trapped Mono Red Expert Stanley 2099 with a box of Monstrous Rages to coach me through my 1-2 loss with my take on his own decklist, Boros Burn, featuring a turn 3 lethal combo with Slickshot Show-Off, Boros Charm, and Monstrous Rage against one of the scariest decks of the Pioneer format, Amalia Combo, a creature toolbox deck that can win with infinite life with Amalia and Wild Growth Walker. Let's see what happens. Here's our first 7. It's not everything we want, but it's like pretty close, right? We have a good threat. We have Play with Fire, Wizard Lightning. We have a Boros Charm. Yeah, we're more than 20 damage here. So that's how I'm thinking about it. We're also on the draw. Is there anything else that you would be thinking of at this moment?
The first thing I look for is, do I have Kumano, Swiftspear, or Soulscar? But with only 12, we can't actually just mulligan every time unless we have a turn 1 play.
What do you mean? What do you mean with only 12?
Kumano, Swiftspear, and Soulscar are the only things that
I see.
In the blind you can always play on turn 1. So in the blind the best hand is going to have one of those. So the first thing I notice about this hand is that it doesn't have one of those. But then I go, well, it doesn't have one of those, but otherwise, like you said, it's fantastic, right? So if we had 16 turn 1 plays, if this was a deck where I had to play on turn 1 or I lose, I maybe begrudgingly mulligan this. But with 12, I actively know that I can't just simply always mulligan for a turn 1 play. I'm gonna turn away too many hands, and I'm not gonna consistently enough find my turn 1 play. So this is pretty much the best you can do when you don't have a turn 1 play. So it's a keep for me too. So, the deck, basically the math isn't there to say that I'm going to always mulligan for a turn 1 play.
I've never thought about, the math of turn 1 plays or early turn plays relative to what you're keeping. So that's actually pretty cool.
The math is really, really important. The heuristic is I want one, but I'm not going to turn away a good hand just because it doesn't have one.
When I see a hand, generally you have cards that you're looking for and sequences you're looking for, right? But I've never really thought about the composition of your deck relative to that. If I were to mull this, I would mull it because I don't see XYZ, right? Versus what we've been talking about before. All right, so this is a keep, and let's see what their turn 1 play is. They kept... Whoa, that was really fast. Okay, so turn 1, Temple Garden, Lunarch Veteran, and then let's go to our draw first. We draw a Sacred Foundry. So it's pretty clear that we play Vantage first, and then the question is then, do we play Fire the Lunarch Veteran? And as a burn deck, I assume we just have to, because if not, their creatures, every other creature they play afterwards just negates too much damage. But there might be a thought of keeping Play of Fire for another target, like a Innkeeper or something. I don't know.
I'm going to play my land and pass, because while I'm perfectly comfortable and okay with killing the Lunarch, I would rather kill Amalia, right? So if they untap land Amalia, I'm going to kill Amalia with the Explore or with the life gain on the stack so they don't get to explore. Typically, if you can ignore their first threat, you're going to, because you're going to trade up on tempo and mana and all that.
So what you're saying is, let's say we hold this Play of Fire and they tap out and play a turn 2 creature and we kill that turn 2 creature. Us trading up on mana with the Play of Fire is much better than killing the veteran.
It just depends what it is. Because remember, we can respond with the spell on the stack, right? So if they cast Wild Growth, for example, you're not killing that with Play with Fire. So you just hit Lunarch while Wild Growth is on the stack, and they don't gain the life. Same with Innkeeper. They're both 1/1s. There's like no difference. So we'll still have an opportunity to deny them the life gain. But if they play, I think specifically Amalia is the only one where I'm like holding up because like I'll let you gain 1 life if that means I get to kill your Amalia. Um, that's a good trade to me. In the other scenarios, we're probably killing Luna,
Yeah.
but you want to like give yourself an opportunity to be more efficient.
Yeah, as you describe it, I'm like, that makes absolute sense. I probably should have done that. Sometimes I talk about this stuff, and then it turns out the person, like me playing this, does better than what I was saying. And I was hoping, like, please play land pass. But no, I think we're going for the play of fire.
Yeah, yeah. I think in general, you want to try to play at instant speed is a really good thing to think about. Like,
Yeah.
I see people playing at sorcery speed a lot. Sometimes it's right, but your default should be to play at instant speed. Oh,
Interesting. So they flash back the Phantom. Whenever another
yeah.
creature you control leaves the battlefield, you gain life. So they have 3 cards. I guess they might not have any other play, and then this like helps block a damage.
Yeah, they mulled the 5. This is also like we could like again, if we had played at instant speed, they may have, for example, so consider for a moment, let's assume they didn't have anything. Then you play with fire this creature in their end step, and now their board is empty, and they
Yeah.
didn't get to use their 2 mana. So you're like miles ahead now if you play it on their end step. And then let's say they have another creature. Well, now they've like given you more information. Right now you don't have any new information. If they had played another creature, you have more information and maybe you killed something better. Um, but the big one is like, yeah, you're right. They may have blanked, and that's where like if you had played at instant speed, you probably win the game on the spot. Of course, they mulled the 5, you're probably going to win the game anyway. But if they really just like didn't have anything, then casting play with fire in their end step would have been like chef's kiss.
Yeah. So here we're just gonna push for damage regardless.
Yep.
And let's see what they do. Oh, we're just gonna go faster here. Here's their Amalia, and they attacked us for 1.
Nice.
All right. That's it. No, we don't have Monster's Rage. I just always assume if we have Boros Charm, we got it. All right. So a couple different options. We can play Boros Charm. All right. So you see how I'm starting to like tank a little bit, right? Like it'll take a little bit of time to like work out everything.
Yeah.
What's like, how are you going to proceed with this?
I'm going to tank. I mean, tanking is the right call. I would rather spend the Boros Charm now because 1, I'm going to deal 5 damage with my Boros Charm. And 2, like I may need to use or hold up interaction on the coming turns. So like since Boros Charm isn't my interaction, I'm just gonna spend it now.
So, okay, interesting. Because when I look at Boros Charm in my hand and I'm like starting to calculate how this all, like how I want to play this game out, right? The fact that Boros Charm plus Monster's Rage being 16 damage, like that's kind of like ingrained in my head. So maybe that's like an issue. But I wouldn't think like I wouldn't have necessarily made the leap to like say has to be Boros Charm now, because the next turn we need to leave mana open for Helix Lightning possibly.
Something important that people forget is that like it doesn't have to be sexy. You don't have to like, deal 16 when they're at 8. If they're at 8, you only have to deal 8. So like right here, if you deal 10 and they're at 7, they're going to actually gain a life when you kill Amalia from the Lunarch, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to be at 8. They're just dead on board to like Lightning Helix, Wizards, Lightning, and Slick Shot. We know they don't have main deck hate, so the chances of them like getting out of range is near 0. And in case something weird happens, I mean, they don't even have the mana to cast Skyclave right now, but like I would spend Boros Charm and like value holding onto my interaction just in case.
So you would just do just Boros Charm, send in Slick Shot, or would you do Play of Fire now on the Malia?
I would play with fire now
Just
because
to
I
maximize
want
the
to
damage.
get my play with fire amounts to 3 extra damage because I get +2 on Slick Shot, and then I get to use the double strike mode on Boros Charm because Slick Shot will have 5 power. So
Right.
Boros Charm is going to deal 5 for me instead of 4.
So I'm trying to figure out why I did Helix instead. But maybe I decided that why I did this. Probably because I was thinking about holding on to the Boros Charm for later, and then
Yeah.
leaving mana open for Wizard's Lightning or Play of Fire. So let's see what happened here. Here's a Scout. And then we'll draw. So they're at 13. We have a Skewer. All right. So we're going to play the land with 4 mana. We can play 3 of our spells. It depends on which 3. So this thing probably got to go. Let's see. We have to deal 13 damage. Is whenever another, right?
Would you like a hint on the maximum damage that you could deal this turn?
How did you calculate so quickly?
I mean, because I've been doing this for a while. Your
Okay,
maximum damage is... Oh, wait. Do
Yeah,
you
go
want
ahead,
the
go
hint?
ahead. I do want the... I wanted the hint.
Your maximum damage, you can deal 17.
Okay, so how did you arrive to that so quickly?
First thing that I think of is like you're
3.
casting 3 spells. So Slickshot has 7 power,
Yep.
which means with Boros Charm, that's 14. So then I'm looking at, okay, do I have to cast Play with Fire? No, I don't. I can Wizard's Lightning them, then I skewer the Phantom, and then I get in for another 14 while they're at 10. And skewering Phantom does have the upside of like, right now they are representing Court of Calling, but they can only court for 2. So I don't think there's anything dangerous they can court for. I don't even think anything could chump block. So like I don't think there's any threat, but people do weird stuff sometimes. Actually, they could court for a bat. They could court for a bat. That would be a thing.
If we're playing through all of that, what we could do, I think, is start with lightning on the player, put them down to 10, skewer the Phantom, play the land, and then we'll play the land first, I think, because I don't know. Then once we go to combat, if they like do anything else, we still have to play a fire available, and I think that's still like that puts them down
think what
to
I
3.
would do now that I've like remembered that they have Deep Cavern Bat, I think the like perfect line, because Phantom says other, right?
Yeah.
You were just checking that. So the most correct line you could build here is you play with Fire Phantom, because the worst possible thing that they could do would be to respond by courting for Deep Cavern Bat. And then with Deep Cavern Bat's ETB on the stack, you lightning Deep Cavern Bat. Now Bat dies.
They go to 14. Yeah.
Then Phantom dies. They're still at 14. And you just give Slickshot double strike, and now they're at 0.
It's exactly 7 times 2.
Yep. They're probably not going to court for Bat here, but that would be the sequence that gets you around the worst possible thing they could do.
It'd be kind of exciting if they actually court. Oh my god, they might be doing it right now.
Are they going to court for...
Oh, we might have called it, yeah. Oh, interesting.
Well, now they have a treasure. Do they have a spicy main deck Fatal Push? No.
Well, they would have just Fatal Pushed, right?
Yeah, that's why I said no.
Yeah.
They had a spicy main deck Fatal Push.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
All right, so that was a pretty easy game 1. They went to 5. All right, so let's go to the Mulligans. Here's game 2. We're on the draw. So here's our first hand. I would immediately say that's a no because we have no threats.
Yep.
Cool. I got a point there. An easy point. All right, here's a second one, which is a lot more appealing because we have a Play of Fire in the Amalia. We have End of Festivities on their turn 1-2 play, and we also are Rampaging for Ocedon. So kind of everything we want. And then we can put away the Battlefield Forge, so we also have a den.
Yeah,
what do you think?
It's a keep. I'm like not excited about it. If this is my 7, I probably mulligan, but it's a keep.
Like, why would you do that?
Because it's just not aggressive. Like our plan A is more important than disrupting, especially because they play like Return to Ranks and Coco, and like they have plenty of ways to generate value. So if the game goes long, our win rate goes down exponentially as the game continues. So This hand is good, but if one of those lands was Swift Spear, Soulscar, or Kumano, I'm really excited. This
Right.
hand is like banging. If it's a slick shot, I'm like, I can probably work with this, but I'm on the draw, so finding a window to like resolve slick shot, it's gonna like take a while. I might have to spend my interaction before I can resolve slick shot, which is gonna be rough. Um,
So let's see what we do here. Put away Forge, right? Please, please.
please,
Everyone's watching right now. Yeah, let's
yeah,
go.
2 points.
Bare minimum. Okay, that's good. That's
Let's
really good.
go.
Let's go. All right.
That's kind
So
of exactly what I was saying with why like I prefer for us and onto Swiss beer because I just have more ways to draw into it. Now you're like, now this hand is fantastic. It's maybe the best you could draw. So now we're cooking.
yeah, I would have never thought about like I guess the amount of one drops that I could draw in this position to like make it even better. I would have just thought, oh cool, I have Ferocidon. I have like all my answers, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll see what happens. All right, so another land. Let's see. We have a play of fire with end of festivities. End of festivities kind of bad right now, or like it only trades for one thing. It's whenever another creature you gain 1 life. We will shut down the get life gain on turn 3, but also that treasure basically means they can kill the Ferocidon like at any point now. Without the treasure is much harder, but that turning on revolt's kind of annoying. So we could also play with fire, but that's our way out of like dying to Amalia. So I guess we just play land and swing.
Yeah. I would there's like a lot. I'm not kind of excited about any of my lines, but land attack pass is probably what I do here.
And we did it. All right.
Assuming, yeah, nice. Assuming they kept 7. They have a lot of cards in hand, so I'm assuming they kept 7.
Yeah, we
If
can.
they were on less than 7, I might consider the 1-for-1 with End the Festivities.
They went to 6.
They went to 6, and they're on the play.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Neither one is like mega objectively correct, but like attacking with that's funny.
I guess
They're not gonna block with
Yeah.
it, so fair enough.
so now they're representing Coco.
Yeah, they 100% are playing Coco. What are you doing? No.
I'm play of firing because I want to scry one. Okay, so this was definitely not what we want to do.
Definitely not. Oh, Monstrous Rage is fantastic draw for so many reasons.
Yeah, and
though.
we left it on top, so you know.
That's excellent. Oh,
But now we die to a Coco.
no, you can't lose the game when you have
Oh,
Monstrous
Ferocidon.
Rage.
Oh, wait. Oh, true. Yeah, I forgot.
So, you already know they're playing Coco. So holding on to Play with Fire as
like,
instant
crucial,
speed
yeah.
interaction, is really good.
Yeah, I lost a lot of points there. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe you were thinking like you probably, if I may, I am assuming that you priced yourself into no matter what, I'm playing Ferocidon next turn, and that's why you were like, I'm just gonna like spend this Play with Fire and fix my draw. That's my best guess.
So I think we just have to like hold this. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
we attack, and hopefully they be
Oh.
silly and Coco
There's a
to
Coco.
block. But okay, all right. Really wish that I could have cast Play with Fire to.
on the deep cavern rat. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good.
All right. Let's see what they do with their turn. Another innkeeper. I actually didn't know what Dina says. I just know that she does combos in Commander. Whenever you gain life, each player loses 1 life, and they sacrifice another creature, and it gets bigger. Right. That's how we
Yeah,
lost this
so
game.
Dina actually means that Monstrous Rage does not draw the game anymore because Dina will kill you. So you're kind of hoping to find a way to kill Dina, but also Ferocidon shuts down Dina because it shuts down them gaining life. So,
Yeah.
but they're doing a good job turning their creatures sideways. Whoa, that's not enough damage, but it's pretty good.
Right now we could do 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 15 if it they block. 15 go to 3, and then They gain
You
2
can
life
deal
out of
12.
5. Wait,
You
12?
can deal 12.
Isn't it? Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then double strike is 10.
Monstrous Rage makes it so Monstrous
This is
Rage will
plus
make
4,
Soul
right?
Scar or Swift Spear a 5/4.
Yeah.
And then Boros Charm is prowess as well.
6,
So
yeah.
Boros Charm will make it 6.
Yeah, so
So
that would
Monstrous
be
Rage Boros Charm is 10
11.
for
Yeah,
Kumano, 12 for your prowess dudes, and 16 for Slick Shot.
got it. Okay, so even though we can't lethal them right now, would you say Ferocidon's like the better play?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And why is that?
I would Ferocidon, or I would attack first because you want to be able to like represent as bad intentions as you can. I guess blocking is fair, but like I said, Ferocidon shuts down Dina, which means now a draw is back on the menu, which, considering your position, might be the best you can ask for. But they had to get lost, so you're bummed out.
Yeah, super bummed out. Now we're not looking as hot.
No, they had the answers this time. You could draw like, oh shit, another Monstrous Rage.
So that
So
is
that's
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Double strike 16.
it would be 18.
18? Why am I so bad at this math? This is
It's okay.
plus this plus 3, this plus
so
4. So that's 7, 8.
The
Nah.
first Monstrous Rage takes him up to 5 power.
Yeah.
Then the second Monstrous Rage is going to be another 3.
Yeah.
So that's 8.
8.
And then Boros Charm is 9.
9.
So
Yeah.
it's like kind of insane that we're actually only 1 damage off if they're like, no, I'm not going to
yeah, they
block
can't
your
kill me,
Soul
yeah.
Scar. Golly.
So I guess the best out we have here is still just swing and then unload everything and see what happens in my mind. Because if we put them low enough, okay, we're doing 18 damage, right? Unblocked. If they block everything, 3, 4, 5, we're doing 13 damage, putting them down to 6, but then their Dina dies, which is kind of important. Putting down to 6, that means we have 2 realistic draws to like kill them or draw a land and den them afterwards. That's what I would think.
Yeah, I think it's not unreasonable. They only have 1 card left in hand. Go to combat attack is definitely what I do next, and then I think some more. Maybe they cast Coco. Like, map is fine. Second map is a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then not
okay.
attacking is pretty sketchy.
Not attack is definitely not the move.
Yeah. So I think in retrospect, at the time, I was thinking like, I'm not going to kill them, so there's no point playing these spells.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of points, as we just talked about.
Yeah. One thing that I was trying to think about before this, like, is there anything worth saying that I can say in a vacuum? And one of the things that I say a lot is give your opponent an opportunity to make mistakes.
Right.
When you attack there, worst case scenario, you deal 1 damage. Or, as we did the math, right? Like 18 damage. If they block, you have Monstrous Rage. So it's just like free, like you get to chip away at their board state for free. And if they like block with everything and you like get to board wipe them, come on, that's like fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So I generally see attacking as giving my opponent an opportunity to make a mistake, especially when I have like Monstrous Rage Boros Charm in hand. Like you cannot lose combat.
Yeah. So ultimately, like, it might have been very different because like their entire board would be gone. They'd be pressured to block the den because we would draw lands, and we'd probably be in a much better position. But yeah, I think
this
not.
could be really interesting depending on how they did or didn't block. And like now you can shock in Foundry, and if you didn't already spend both Monstrous Rage, you have enough mana to like animate Den and cast another Monstrous Rage.
Yeah.
So I wish that I had like less cards in hand and I had already spent at least, Monstrous Rage plus Boros Charm. But you also have, so it was what, 18 before, so now it's 22 because we have 2 extra power. So again, we're like 1 off if they don't block, which is super annoying.
Yeah. So we'll just go to game three because I assume
I
we weren't
think
going to do
so.
anything
Yeah,
here. Yeah, I
it's
just
gotta
conceded.
end soon.
I think one of the issues that I have with playing this deck or other decks in general is like I'm I'm aware of the roles that my cards need to play, right? And then
Mhm.
when the role doesn't align with what the card's doing, I just kind of like not do it, right? I think that's
Yeah.
what's like leading to the issues of like I don't attack there because I didn't like think it through. I was thinking like, well, it's not lethal, so might as well not play it. But
Hmm.
here, let's see. We have a lot of stuff that we really like. We have a slick shot that gets them. We have a helix. We have two pieces of removal and a turn one play, and a remnant ruins as our third land. So it's
10
like
out of
pretty
10.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thrilled at this hand. This is a hand where I look at and go, all right, I'm just like two non-lands away from winning this game. Uh,
So, do you know like what non lands they are? Like, is that what you're thinking? Like, what are you thinking of at this time?
like any two non-lands. I just mean like I'm pretty much two burn spells away from winning this game because like I get to curve Soul Scar, Slick Shot, and then I have two pieces of interaction. So like a little bit more interaction or like even Swift Spear here is like fine. This hand is just like we're the beatdown, we're on the play. I don't care about your Lunark. You're not combo killing me next turn. Like a lot of them only play two Lunark anyway. So I don't really. My opponent's turn one play doesn't matter because they might make one, they might not. Either way, I get to put two really powerful threats on the board, and I already have the backup I need because Play with Fire kills Amalia and Lightning Helix kills Wild Growth.
Yeah.
So as long as I find like a few more prowess triggers, I'm gonna win this game. Is my kind of thought process.
So, would you also have played slick shot here?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's important to not kind of be too jumpy and kill everything. So the Lunark here is like, okay, worst case scenario, they play Amalia, they explore Amalia's a 3/3. But I have a Lightning Helix in hand, so I don't even care about that. Like that's why I was so excited about that hand. It just like doesn't really matter what they do. I just have it all, as they say.
Yeah. All right. So they played Dina for their second spell, and then we drew a Soul Scar. So we're playing Ruins. We have 3 mana.
Hmm.
In my mind, I'm putting down. I want to put down more bodies. I'll put down the Swift Spear and the Soul Scar. Well, I think I'll play Swift Spear first, and then
Hmm.
attack of everything, just because that then the damage, then the spells just represent more damage through prowess.
Yeah, we're gonna land Swift Spear attack, and like I said, give your opponent opportunities to make mistakes. Maybe they'll block. I do not play Soul Scar here though.
Yeah, just so that we could fake more or give less information.
Yeah, and I'm just like, Soul Scar's fine. It's setting up a really big attack, and like in retrospect, I've got the play with fire, so I'm feeling pretty good. But I'm probably spending. Yeah, yeah, I think that's right. I take it back.
All right, so we drew our land. We have 3 mana. We have 4 mana. We can play fire, lightning, helix. That represents 5 damage off.
I think that you're overestimating your opponent's appetite to block. They don't they don't want to block. Cuz the thing is if they block, their creatures are like really important resources to them.
Right.
So here like if you just kind of throw everything at them, you have 14 damage on attacks coming in if you spend both your spells because it's 3 damage per prowess dude and then 5 damage from slick shot, so you have like
Yeah.
3, 6, 9, 14, right?
Yeah.
Nothing has flying, so slick shot's definitely getting through. They don't really have any blocks that blow you out, so I definitely like want maximum information for me and minimum information for them. So I
Mm.
go to attacks and make them set up their blocks, having no idea that I actually have like a shitload of damage like
Yeah.
primed and ready.
Got it. And this is just like going back to giving them more room to make mistakes. Because now, if we
Yeah.
like kill a thing, they're like, "Oh, I definitely need to block X, Y, Z, or whatever."
Yeah, especially like as soon as you think about it, right now, if you attack right now, you're attacking for 4. By casting a spell pre-combat, now you're attacking for 9. So you've more than doubled your threat, and now your opponent is like much more aware that their life is in danger, because they're gonna go, well, if you cast one more spell, I'm, I'm dead, right?
Yeah,
So, information is like a really really vital resource, and you want to maximize yours and minimize theirs.
makes sense.
That's why like the default behavior is
Attack
play at
first.
instant speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, attack first and play at instant speed. If they had something scary to block with, that kind of changes it. But like even Dina in her big bad 3 toughness,
We can still
your
get with the Helix.
well, you don't even have to hit it with Helix because by casting both spells, all your
Right.
creatures have 3 power. So not even like Dina can't survive, nothing can survive this attack.
Yeah,
If
so I
if you
think
just
I was probably overthinking it and like trying to like calculate how much damage we can put on them versus just thinking about how like their creatures are important to them and that us attacking gives us like just attacking without doing anything gives us the most
yeah.
flexibility. Because even if
I
we don't kill
am
them, this damage or combat or something, like killing all those creatures are gonna matter a lot.
Yeah, I'm really late to the chess party. Like apparently a lot of people picked up chess during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I started like I got into it like earlier this year, and there's like a really important concept that like gets screamed at new players. You can't play chess selfish. You can't just like move your pieces where you want to move them and like not think about what your opponent's trying to do because they're just going to beat you. So the same here applies. Like I am always thinking about like what my opponent wants, what my opponent might do, what my opponent will do. Like Amalia's creatures are really important resources to them. So I think they're much more likely to not block. And then if they do block, I value their creatures really highly. So like no matter what, their creatures are going to die. If I wipe their board, they're not going to kill me. By attacking first, there's a lot of kind of lines that your opponent can take where they just lose the game on the spot. And then if they don't take one of those lines, then after they've taken their line, you get to like
Decide. Yeah.
choose how to maximize your spells. And they do have a black source, so like fatal push might be coming, or they showed us the get lost, right? So we definitely want to go into combat. There's your fatal push. Let them potentially like block in a way that loses them the game, right?
Yeah.
But now they can just not block and then combo kill you. Because now you're tapped out. They know that precisely 9 damage is coming. They know that they're not going to lose. And they know that they can like keep this innkeeper. And luckily they didn't have the combo, but they return to ranks and gain a bunch of life. And now we're out of resources
And
and
they have
we're
all
like
that.
way behind now.
Yeah.
And seeing that they have returned to ranks, now I suspect that they may have blocked, but if they did block, again, like I said, we wouldn't have had to point any of our burn spells
Yeah.
at their creatures. We could have, um, you know, killed the innkeeper too, so that they had no creatures left. Like we would have had a lot of options.
Yeah, so here it's starting to look pretty grim, but
Hmm.
we do have this monstrous rage. So
Yeah,
I think our only crack at it is just swing of everything and see what happens. Because whatever they block with, we can still kill.
yeah. It's like you just like you want to play at instant speed, unless you have a really compelling reason not to. You also want to attack unless you have a really compelling reason not to. There's not any compelling reason not to. Here you can just deal 3 and hold up Monstrous Rage in case they combo kill. But actually, I guess they have Dina, so Monstrous Rage doesn't draw you, so spending it is probably the right move. And you just kind of have to hope. Yeah. If they didn't have Dina, I wouldn't have cast the Monstrous Rage, and then
Oh,
obviously I would have gotten punished by the by the Deep Cavern Bat. But at that point, their board's pretty scary. They have a couple cards in hand, and that's where like Well, I'm not killing them, and being tapped out means they definitely have a window to kill me.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a play of fire. I still think we just have to tackle everything and see what
Oh yeah,
happens. Yeah.
yeah. Give them an opportunity to just like let you kill them.
Okay, we'll go to damage. So then if I point two at them, then Swift Spear just kills the walker, and then we
Mm-hmm.
kill all those things. Or we point two at Dina, and then Dina pumps power, right? Yeah, Dina pumps power. We point 2 points at Dina, then we'll still kill the walker and kill the bat and kill the Dina. So I think we shoot at Dina.
Either way, I'd probably take the scry because at this point my opponent didn't combo kill me last turn. So I just kind of want to find a way to end the game,
Yeah.
which is any burn spell at this point. I think it's reasonable to kill Dina here, but I think in this case I would really value the scribe really highly. Did we play with fire the wild growth?
We did.
That's a bummer.
I don't know why.
It's okay. I mean, weird stuff happens when you're playing
Yeah.
Magic. That's a fact. This is like, and they top decked Amalia.
Yeah.
At least wild growth is gone.
And then now they get us with Dina. They sacrifice Amalia to Dina.
Oh really? Is that?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that text says.
Dina,
Ugh.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's how he lives. But lots of learnings here. I mean, I think some of the key mistakes were just like not playing at instant speed a lot, giving a lot of information there, and then yeah, I think that's mainly it. And then there's come a couple like weird spots where we like decided to play a fire the wild growth or well,
Yeah,
forgot
that
what
happens.
game two. What we did.
Definitely, like information is currency, and like time is currency, and those are like currencies that you really want to maximize. So playing at instant speed is really helpful and important in that regard. I think mono red kind of this reputation of like, oh, it's easy, you just goldfish and kill them. And I think it gets that reputation because you can do that and get like a like 30-40% win rate, and you know arena makes people just like bash through games as quickly as possible. So like it's not unreasonable that people view it that way because a lot of people play it that way. But the difference between like goldfishing and hope I draw enough damage and like playing at maximum efficiency and like taking every opportunity you can to like squeeze out damage and find ways to like make your opponent make mistakes.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about after watching these games?
I thought about like, is there anything that I would say in a vacuum? And I got to say the one piece in like, give your opponent an opportunity to make mistakes. My win rate went up so much when I like retrained myself to thinking my opponent will probably make a mistake. I think my opponent will probably take the optimal line, like we did with like that critical turn
With the
in the first
core,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, like we spent a lot of time and we're like, okay, what is the like most galaxy brain thing my opponent could do? Okay, they could cord for a bat. But then when we like think for a moment, it's like, wait a second. If they corded for bat, I don't win there. So it's
With
like
that
really
particular
important.
sequence that we were talking
Yeah.
about, yeah.
Exactly. So we're like, okay, the galaxy brain move is cord for bat, and I can play in a way that plays around that and still wins the game. And so, of course I should.
And that's
Of course I
that's
should.
especially important here because our margins are so thin. So
Yeah.
like we have to make sure that we get those galaxy brain lines
Yeah.
because like there's no other shot, right? We can't just like untap draw like a divination effect and just get back in there. No, that's it
No.
if we miss. So I think that's what's
The clock is like not your friend. The longer
Yeah.
the game goes, the more difficult it is to win. One more like important thing on that like sequence though is like, if you have the ability to like, okay, maybe if my opponent makes this mistake, I win the game, but I'll be in a really bad spot, and instead we can just like play fair magic and I think I'm ahead and I can win in a couple more turns, then you should. But sometimes you're like, I'm dead on board. No matter what, I'm going to die next turn. So I need to like do something, right? And so you're like, well, if I take this sequence and my opponent makes this mistake, then I win. And like your opportunity cost is 0 is if you're like, if I pass the turn, I lose.
Yeah, and
So
that's actually what happened in game 2. Is that we hit that point where we started losing, and I just kind of like froze and stopped doing anything, right? Where if we just made a move, we had so many potential draws if they made a mistake and the draw to then win the game. But instead of
yeah,
opening any of
exactly.
Yeah.
You want to like keep chipping away, keep like doing things to like keep force your opponent to make decisions. Like you always want to chip away, and then at the end you're like, well, I'm probably gonna lose. If there's any line that like doesn't lose, just go for it. The like you're already the alternative. You're gonna if you're gonna lose anyway, like you may as well like make some dumb move that maybe possibly doesn't lose you the game. You have many resources at your disposal when you play a game of Magic, and maximizing all of them is, you know, really, really important, especially in a deck like this where you care a lot about what your opponent does, both like in response to what you're doing and like in their particular strategy.
One last thing I like to do: if you were to grade me on the games you watched today, what grade would you give me?
Oh no, you should have told me beforehand that there was a test at the end.
It's like it's not serious. The honest number, break my heart. Let's go.
No, I'm not gonna break your heart. That's not my thing.
Don't sugarcoat it. Just give it to me straight.
Somewhere average-ish.
Okay.
I would put.
So let's say a 5. For next week, under the box is some premium
Gelato.
Let's see which magic code we can trap and learn from. If you like this video, please subscribe to my Patreon. Every dollar goes to paying coaches to be on the series for all of us to learn from. Thanks for watching. Bye!